Oh. Okay, yeah, we are on and rocking. I'm on here for Trump, baby. Trump brought me back to YouTube for a minute for today. That's it. I came on here to discuss this raid that everybody is talking about. It is completely unethical in my eyes. These pretty brown eyes say it's unethical. That's my point of view. It's my perspective. I can have it. Doesn't matter what the Democrats think or Google. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. And this is my opinion. This is not based on any facts. This is not based on hard evidence. But hey, if the feds can use loosely based evidence, so can I. Let me share my screen because or maybe you don't know, but I like to get right into it. I don't like to waste any time. So this guy here, not this guy, this guy, this guy right here. This is Michael Cohen. And it is again, in my opinion, that they are using this guy's testimony, this guy's statements to try to bring Trump down. Because if you remember, when he got fired, he made a statement stating that allegedly, Trump's people came into his office, must have pushed his chair around a little bit and took a box of papers, right? This is what this guy's saying, right? But if you get the background, you look at the background on Michael Cohen, you won't believe him. I don't believe him at all. He gives me sleaze, cheesy, greasy, you know what I mean? He gives me that, and it's for a reason. And what I'm going to do is take you over here. And here's the case here. And I want anybody who's interested on the sites that I'm going to share this on, come back and go through the whole entire case, because I'm not going to do that. What I want you to focus on is what I want you to focus on. And that's it. Okay, keep your eyes right here. Okay, now this paragraph right here is just a little pleasantry, just explaining where Michael Cohen came from. He was promoted. Oh, he was well thought of, but they thought wrong. They thought like Nettie. Nettie thought like peanut butter and jelly. That's what we used to say in the projects. But here, let's get into this right here. This is why this guy is gonna end up leading the Democrats right where they belong. And the people that they choose to use as witnesses and whistleblowers, completely horrible. And this is a dud. This is another dud. I don't care what you see on television, how they try to fascinate it and hype it up. This is another dud. Just like Russia collusion, dud. Obstruction, dud. Everything that they impeached him on, duds. They had nothing. Every time they're like, oh, we got Trump, we got Trump, we got Trump. It was always a dud, and this is going to blow up in their face. So I really strongly believe that. And shout out to Trump for pleading the fifth with Letitia James, because what Letitia James should have been doing is fighting the case against Cuomo and these the elderly people who died in those nursing homes, answering the questions or getting answers, substantive answers for those children who lost their parents in those nursing homes. Okay, some of those people were abandoned. They put sick people back in the nursing homes when they didn't have to because President Trump sent the ship over here, a medical ship, huge ship, beautiful, huge. I didn't get to, thank God. But, from just looking at it, beautiful, huge ship. Had military workers, from the nurses, staff, doctors, ready to help people. And that beautiful ship just sat there in the water. They never utilized it. So Letitia James should have rightfully kept that case and dropped the sexual harassment case because it seemed like a bunch of bullshit. And I'm a person, I believe women, but the stories was, I don't know. And I'm not saying that he wasn't inappropriate. I do believe he was inappropriate, but sometimes women do play games. Like they'll let you touch them, they'll let you do certain things because they want to gold climb, they want to move up, so they allow certain things. And then, when it's time to kind of like cash in, if they got to use you, then hey, it's you or whatever. So, not to in defense of Cuomo, because I really don't appreciate Cuomo at all. Not at all. Don't appreciate the man. But that's where Letitia should be focused at. But she thinks she's going to get the governor's seat by going after Trump. So, that's doesn't have anything to do with this, but I just, wanted to make mentions of that. But like again, this guy here, Michael Cohen. Let's look at him again. There he is. This is who I believe that the Democrats are allegedly basing everything on. They betting everything on him and his fake information. But okay, let's go. Let's look at this guy's background because everybody thought for some reason that he went to jail for Stormy McDaniels, and he didn't go to jail for Stormy McDaniels. He went to jail because he's a thief, a stone cold thief. Now let's get into this. Cohen's first theft, and I said theft, involved cash seized in the case of the United States versus, I'm just gonna call this guy Muhammad. The record that case reveals that the record in that case reveals that on December 8th, 1999, a criminal complaint was filed charging Mohammed with one count of bank fraud. There's the code, USC code there, and that a warrant for Mohammed's arrest was issued. On that same day, Cohen assisted another Secret Service agent, Dean Vernon, with the arrest of Mohammed and the seizure of numerous items found in Mohammed's residence. Vernon was in charge of the case, but the assignment was his very first case as an agent coming out. And that can be dangerous depending on who you're working with, because there's all type of loopholes, and sometimes senior officers will take advantage, like we see here. The agents transferred the seized items to the field office in Philadelphia to be sorted and inventoried in accordance with prescribed Secret Service procedure. During a review of the seized evidence, Vernon discovered an envelope containing what appeared to be $1,000 of genuine United States currency. I don't know, maybe there was some counterfeit cash. Vernon immediately picked his phone up and paged Mr. Cohen on the intercom to call him at his extension. Cohen came down to the squad, praised the agents for finding the money, and asked Vernon to see him in his office so that they could take care of the money. According to Vernon's testimony, when he arrived at Cohen's office, Cohen instructed, "Just don't worry about it. I'll hold on to the money for now. When it's time to, inventory the money, we'll take care of it." Vernon further testified that Cohen jokingly said that maybe when the case is over with, you might be able to keep the money and split it. Christmas was coming, and it would be nice to have the money at the end of the holiday. It says at later, Cohen called Vernon to his office, and Cohen pulled out the envelope with the money. Vernon testified that Cohen asked him to hold on to half of the money and said that if anybody says anything to you about the money, you've got half and I've got half. Vernon testified he held onto the envelope, went back to his office, sat down at his desk, opened up the envelope, looked inside, and there was $400 still in the envelope. Well, $600 light, huh? So the skimming had begun. Let's continue. Shortly before the Christmas holiday, Cohen again called Vernon to his office. During this meeting, Cohen suggested that they donate the money to charity And Vernon returned the $400 to Cohen, right? After the agents came back from the Christmas holiday, Cohen again gave Vernon $200. He must be nervous at this time, I believe, and suggested that he deposit it into his travel account, an account that each agent maintains for official travel expenses. We know expense accounts, right? Mm-hmm. Vernon initially kept the money in his desk drawer, but later became concerned that it might be stolen. He was concerned that the stolen money might be stolen. Okay. And therefore deposited it into his travel account, which he was not supposed to do. In early March, Vernon reported to his supervisor what he and Cohen had done. Guilty conscience. Investigating agents instructed Vernon to inventory the remaining money on a personal property form, not a 1544 form, which would have been the appropriate form, to fill out, but the money's gone now. Even though Vernon informed the agents that the money had been seized during the investigation. So that's proper protocol. That's the proper form to use. And even though he explained that to them, they still said, just use the personal property form. Why not? Who cares? Screw Muhammad. Cohen's second theft, and I said theft, involved the case of Iman Idris. On January 13, 2000, as part of a large-scale counterfeiting investigation, Secret Service agents executed search warrants at Idris's residence and storage locker. Richard Kavanaugh, and I'm not mentioning the little abbreviations because those are like legal and cases, and if you don't know, you just don't know. So it's not worth mentioning, okay? So I'm not just like running off. Richard Kavanaugh, who had begun working for the Secret Service in September of 1998, was the case agent, and this was his first major case. Another rookie. In executing the warrants, agents seized 2 carloads of items, including a firebox. After these items had been taken to Philadelphia, agents opened the firebox and found hundreds of thousands of dollars of counterfeit money orders, all sorts of checkbooks and IDs, and about $3,000 in cash. The agents called Cohen and he kept the money in his desk over the weekend. Cohen called Kavanaugh on Monday to congratulate him on the success of the search, and Kavanaugh mentioned that another agent had told him that approximately $3,100 had been found in the lockbox. Cohen testified that he informed Kavanaugh, "That's not what I counted, because I counted the money also. I think there was approximately $1,200 in there." According to Kavanaugh, when he mentioned starting asset forfeiture paperwork for the currency, Cohen told him to hold off on that for a little bit and added, "We'll hold on to the money, and if Idris doesn't say anything about it, we'll split it up amongst the team." Now, Idris is the criminal, okay? And rightfully, I believe that money is supposed to be deposited to the commissary or whatever like that. But, if Idris doesn't say anything, this is what Cohen wants to do with the money. Split it up with the team. That's not proper procedure. That's not how that goes. There's a way that departments get money and they get rewarded and little bonuses. This ain't it. This is theft. When Kavanaugh returned to the office on Tuesday, he informed Cohen that he wanted to complete the legal asset forfeiture paperwork in accordance with Secret Service procedure. So he's like, "Nah, guy, none of that funny stuff. I want to do this by the book." Okay? Cohen agreed, but told him that he would do the asset forfeiture for the $1,159 that was seized. Kavanaugh testified that he did not question Cohen about the discrepancy between the amount that the other agents had told him was found in the firebox and the amount that Cohen proposed to inventory because he was afraid to mention the difference. However, he discussed his belief that Cohen skimmed $1,800 from the seized $3,000 with other members of his squad. So they got a whole ring down there, like these mail carriers. They got a little ring going on here nor there. Back to Cohen. Cohen inventoried $1,173 on an appropriate form 1544. Finally, somebody filled out 1544. But he signed the evidence introvert. Did I say introvert? And oh Lord have mercy. He signed the evidence. Sometimes you can feel, reading sometimes can make you feel really slow. Evidence inventoried, Lord knows, by line rather than reviewing supervisor line. Because Cohen was a supervisor, he was supposed to sign under reviewing supervisor. So he skipped that line so it could fall on somebody else, right? Or to maybe give himself some wiggle room. Let's see. As a result of this error, the form was returned to Kavanaugh to fill out properly. Okay. Because Kavanaugh is the lead on the case. Kavanaugh inventoried the $1,173 on a second form, 1544, which he signed as if he had inventoried the evidence, but he didn't. They didn't, the money's gone. After Kavanaugh filed the second form, 1544, he spoke with an assistant United States attorney in connection with the Idris case, and Kavanaugh informed the assistant that the agents had seized $1,159, during the search. Kavanaugh then prepared another search warrant and supporting affidavit in the Idris case. In the affidavit, which he swore to before a judicial officer, he stated that $1,159 had been seized during the search. He lied. Okay, here we go. On February 29th, 2000, Cohen was called into the office of Assistant Special Agent in charge, Spurlock, and told that internal affairs inspectors were in Philadelphia to speak to some of the agents on the squad. Spurlock informed Cohen that Kavanaugh would be on administrative leave until further notice. Cohen inquired about the reason for the leave, and Spurlock replied that there was allegations that the money had been stolen from a case. Cohen immediately confessed to skimming $1,800 from money seized during the Idris investigation in order to spare the junior agents from an internal affairs investigation. For them, no, in order to keep them from telling their story about how he coerced and corrupted them, right? Because remember, he does this all the time, right? Kavanaugh questioned Cohen about the property of splitting the money, but Cohen informed him that we did it all the time in Kansas City. Let that seep into your pores. Okay, we seep in now. We don't got to sink no more. We don't got to let it sink in. We can let it seep. Let it seep into your brain. We did it all the time in Kansas City. We did it all the time. Keep saying that to yourself. This guy, the guy who the Democrats are banking everything on. This guy who said paperwork was taken from him, from Trump's people. This guy said that. Do we know that to be true? Absolutely not. Where's the video footage of people coming in? Surely you got a camera around the office somewhere. Where's the video footage of the people coming in like bumping your chair around because he act like they came in the office, bumped his chair around a little bit, took stuff. He felt intimidated. I doubt this guy. His cheesy rat is written all over him. Chuck E. Cheese's is, oh, I'm sorry. I love Chuck E. Cheese's, but when I look at him, that's what I think about Chuck E. Cheese's. Chuck E. Cheese's. And that no good rat that wouldn't give that little child a high five. That's what I see when I see him. And here's my evidence right here. See, I don't have to sensationalize bullshit and make up something. Oh Lord, let me tell you, look over here, y'all. Now look over there. Now get down. Think about it. I don't have to do all of that foolishness. It's like, here are the facts here. This is who they would have you believe. This guy did 33 months in prison. Come on, you don't take the testimony of an inmate. You take the statements from an inmate with a grain of salt. That's how you take it. You don't really take it too seriously. We see this all the time. You watch court TV, you see these guys get blown out the water all the time. It always comes back that, oh yeah, nothing that they stated was substantive or factual or anything. They just wanted to get out they cell, get a new suit, make up some bullshit. They were just bored a lot of the time, and they would make up anything. But this guy, we did this all the time in Kansas City. So you know what I'm thinking? And this is just me. I'm thinking that they were going to dig all the way back to Kansas City. They was going all the way back to Kansas with Dorothy and Toto and Aunt May. They were going to dig all the way back and pull them files and see how much and how long this guy had been doing that. And his only way out, this dude's only way out was to say, you know what, they going on Trump. I'm going to give them some Trump stuff. I'm going to make up some shit. Screw it at this point. He'll do anything. If you a lie, you a cheat. We already know he is still. We already know. So maybe we should stay it the other way. If you're still, he'll lie and cheat. In this case, and this is what they're basing. This is why they bust up in Trump house. And my thing is like, listen, let's go to the Rays because you got to have probable cause, right? You have to have probable cause. What is probable cause? Well, it says right here, probable cause is the substantial chance or fair probability that a crime has taken or is taking place. Now let's stop right there. Russia collusion, a dud. Obstruction of justice, a dud. There was a few more other things that they went at so much, child. I tried to erase it from my mind and just give myself some mental therapy because every day it was something new on Trump. Quid pro quo with Ukraine. Let's stick to those three. All three of those were duds. They were all bullshit. No substantive law, no facts, no case, nothing. Zero. Nothing happened, right? So based on that, what would be the probability that he stole, that President Trump, former president, 45, I'm calling 45, because I don't like to say former, because I think he should still be the president. But what is the probability that he stole what papers? We don't even know what papers. That's another thing. We're going to get into that too. We'll get into the questions that people should be asking. But based on what probability? We got three duds. So I could see if you had a history of convictions, a history of being right, of history of presenting substantive evidence, then I could understand why we're here today raiding the president's home or raiding Trump's home. But I don't. I don't see the probability that a crime had taken place based on the three duds where you already failed. Says it is not a strict rule a law enforcement agent must only have a reasonable suspicion of crime to be granted a search warrant. That's them giving themselves a little loophole there, right? Probable cause is based on preliminary evidence retained by the FBI of a crime, past, present, or future. What crime? Or that a person has additional information about a crime. Preliminary evidence can be gathered through either direct or hearsay information. Close the door. Direct information. Direct information is information that does not require further inference in order to prove that is correct. So sounds like what? Poppycock. Here you go. This type of information may be gathered through direct observation of an event or direct testimony of someone who was allegedly a part of an event. Okay. Since we could use hearsay and all that, I could throw some words up in there. Why not? Whose testimony? And I'm just showing you here, the probable, what they say is, probable cause, direct information, and hearsay information, the grounds on them getting this warrant. This is what they use. Hearsay is not allowed in court. The only way something considered hearsay is allowed in court is if you have like a written statement or you have somebody there, present in body, willing to give their statement. But if it's just some he says, she says type of stuff, which this is, that no court of law would even accept that. And that's all they got is hearsay. They don't have no tape record. Where's the tape recordings? YouTubers come on here, blow up stuff every day. They talk to each other, record each other. They come back to you, boom. Oh, you don't believe me? Roll the tape. They play the tape. I give more credit to YouTubers at this point than I'm giving the feds. Because at least they try to bring, at least they do bring you actual people saying what they said the person said. This is garbage. But I just wanted to say this is how they can obtain the warrant based on these things. I wanted to go over the probable cause because I'm like, they have none. No probable cause whatsoever. And it's unethical. And Trump wasn't even there. And his attorney also was trying to negotiate something with them. And that's how they were supposed to do that. Now, the questions I would like people to ask. You could come back to this website too if you want to know, what constitutes the feds obtaining a search warrant or whatever. That's what this is. Okay, so Blanche Law Firm. I work cheap, Blanche Law Firm. I am a person who works well with exhibits. I've done YouTube for a while. Obtained, my web mastery from APUS University. Shout out to them. And I'm a paralegal, so I didn't make my pitch. Anybody need a paralegal? Even if you just need a paralegal to like maybe you have a case and you just need somebody to like help pull cases. I can do that. I'm not a lawyer. I can't give you legal advice, but I can pull cases in your favor and against you as well to kind of help you out. So rwbilling67@gmail.com should you need some services. Okay, I work cheap. But here are the questions that people need to ask themselves, right? Number one, what is the crime that President Trump is being charged with? That's number one. Number two, what White House document specifically or documents specifically are you alleging that that Trump took? What are the documents? Name them. Number three, well, I just kind of said it already, but why didn't that feds work with the lawyer? The lawyer, Trump's lawyer, his people are always willing to work. They're going to give you the paperwork. They're going to get, they're going to defend their client. And they have every right to defend him. And I'm glad that they're defending. I hope he has some real sharks over there. But, they're going to defend their client, whatever, but they're willing to work. His team is always willing to work. From my observation, they're always willing to work with the government. They're going to make sure that they're in a secure position or that their client is in a secure position and working from a place of strength, which you should do as an attorney, or else you're a garbage attorney. Like, you don't just feed your client to the wolves. They're paying you and you just throw them over to the wolves. That's not what you do. So shout out to the Trump legal team. I wish I was a part in some small way. What's that? The fourth question. Why was it done when Trump wasn't home? I think I said that as well. Why was it done when he wasn't home? And he said they went into his safe. That bothered me because I'm like, okay, people usually keep valuables in safes, like money, jewelry, maybe deeds. You keep deeds and legal paperwork and things like that regarding your finances and stuff. Mostly is what you'll find that people say is like for them to take his safe, take papers from all over the house, take, what I'm saying? Like, I like to see a copy of the warrant. They should, because he was a president, we should have access to that information. I would like to read the search warrant. I would like to also know, we should also all want to know, was any privileged information taken? Because certain information is privileged and they do not have the right to just take that. They have a team or whatever. I think they call it the tank team. Tank team. That's on here too. I think it's called the tank team. And they go over, any documents that could be considered privileged before they hand anything over to a prosecutor or whatever. And was that done? That's what we want to know. Yeah, because it's like HIPAA laws. It's like you can't just put out somebody's medical information. You can't just take busing with a warrant and it's personal information and just take that and put it out if it's between Trump and his doctor, if it's between Trump and his lawyer, if it's between Trump and his I don't want to say parishioner or his pastor or whatever, religious, person he has in his life or whatever. Some people have coaches, they have so many names. It's hard to keep up with everything nowadays, and spiritual advisors and all of this stuff. But that if things that you share with them are privileged, and that's supposed to be restricted, from being turned over to like the feds and stuff like that. So was that done? Did they have a specific area of the house that they were supposed to search? How can you, if you are looking for documents, that would mean to me, okay, where's your office? Where's your home office at? That's where we're going. Do you have any other offices that you work out of, in the home? And that's what I'm looking at. Home offices, not Melania's office or whatever, but like the president's office. Where do you work at when you're here? That should have been the specific area where they should have been searching. That seems to me as if they were around the house, and that's not how that's supposed to go. They're not supposed to do this. They just doing anything to this man, and it breaks my heart. It's hard because that could be any one of us, and we don't have the legal team, the savvy, the know-how, anything to fight these people. We end up in jail for 60 years. We get railroaded like genuine activists, not these people that you see. I'm talking about activists from back in the day who have had felonious charges brought up on them, ended up in prison cells for 30, 40 years, who really didn't, do anything. They just kind of linked them in and just railroaded them into prison because they didn't have, the legal know-how. They didn't have that strong legal team. So this is what we face. If they pick Trump off, all of us are done. All of us Trump supporters, especially those who have been vocal, they already tagged my name. You know what I'm saying? They had already lit my name up. I should have put the letter up here, whatever, but I'm not gonna even do it. I wrote to them and everything. And they try to say, well, we can't tell you that we investigating you. But meanwhile, I'm looking at my name right here lit up in red. This red stuff lit up in my name, at that time when they were investigating me or whatever. But and it was all over this stuff. It's all over statements, petitions, videos. That's what it was about. It wasn't. I don't have any type of criminality in my life. I'm not a criminal. I don't commit crimes. I don't have any record. I don't. That's not my forte. I don't. That's not what I need to do. Okay, so they lit my name up and everything like that. So imagine if they just came and just pulled me out of my house like they do in China. They just come. It doesn't matter how much you present. Oh, wait a minute, let me get my lawyer. They just snatch you up and pull you out. And this is what they ultimately want to do to every Trump supporter. They want us all gone. If they can't erase it and change our way of thinking to go along, to get along with them, then they want us gone. And they'll do just about anything they can do. Okay. And we are watching this horror happen to our favorite guy, Trump. He's a strong guy. He's a true fighter. He's a real fighter, boy. I tell you. Because I don't know how many of us would have had the tenacity to stand up to this and then to keep going. Keep going when somebody is maliciously harassing you. These people are full of malicious intent in their regards to President Trump. I would like to also know about the magistrate, right? The judge who signed the petition because he shouldn't have signed if he ever had if this judge or magistrate judge if the judge has ever made any Twitter statements about Trump, if the judge has like any kind of dealings that ever had anything to do with Trump enterprises or anything like that, then he was supposed to I was supposed to say redact himself. He was supposed to remove himself from this. All magistrates and judges who sign these warrants have to be neutral. So you can't have any kind of attachment to the party that's being investigated at all. Okay. Especially if it's going to go to trial. And I believe this may go to trial. I don't know. They're going to try to at least force a trial or whatever, but I don't know. But I'd like to know more about the judge as well. What the judge knows. Do they have any connections to the Trump family? Have they even ever attended anything, a Trump party or anything like that? Have they attended Joe Biden's party? Are they friends with the Bidens? Or are they friends with Hillary? Do they attend Hillary parties? Like these are all grounds for them that warrant to be null and void, if you ask me, because if you can't really be socializing with these people, and then when a case comes before you, think that this person is going to really be, upright and righteous about the situation. You can't really expect them to do that. They're not going to do that. This is their friend. They're going to find every loophole they could find, whatever, without saying it. Judges, magistrates, these people, they're very powerful in that way. So that's what I wanted to come on here and talk about. That's just what I wanted to say. I think it's completely unethical. I think that people should start asking those questions all over Twitter, all over Getter, all over American Message Board, all over all of the sites that at least anyways don't restrict you as much. Those questions need to be asked. We need to see the copy of the warrant. The president is that's a public office, so we should be able to see the actual search warrant and see, what they were looking for, to see the specifics of it, like where they were supposed to be searching at. Because you can't be in the kitchen searching for documents. You can't be in the bedroom, searching for like, you would have had to restrict that to his office. And I wanted to know if they stayed in that office. That's what I want to know. And Michael Cohen, once again, let's look at Cheesy Rat. There you go. Not this one, but this one. The one who likes to hold on to all the money. It's this guy. I'm willing to bet, man. Woo, I wish I had somebody to make a bet with. They need to put that on what's that website where you can go Kings or something? I forgot the name of that website. We forgetting a lot of stuff today. But on point, like, you were supposed to help me. We can't even. I couldn't even think of the guy who did the started the FBI. Like, I'm talking about this guy, J. Edgar Hoover. There you go, J. Edgar Hoover. This is the guy who founded the feds. We were having a discussion about that, like wondering if he's turning over in his grave right now to see, the feds kind of falling apart here. Like I don't know. I don't know if it's because the Democrats are in charge or they just like really falling apart over there, but I don't know. Old J. Edgar Head Hoover is rolling around in his grave right about now. So yeah, I gave it to you. Like I always do. I don't know if they're gonna let it play or not. I don't even know if they're gonna let my references show up because these people don't like me on here. I don't care. I don't like them either. They ain't gotta like me. Cares. Life is not about likes, it's about survival, you know? But yeah, I had to come on here, talk about Trump. I don't like it. Unethical, unimaginable. We have a lot to be concerned about. Trump supporters, I'm not hearing them as loudly, and I get it because we're suffering under inflation. We are suffering under a soft recession. We are suffering under open borders, especially in New York. It's off the chain in New York. They hammering people, R wording people, um, people going missing, people are busting in. All kind of hell is breaking loose. And like I told y'all before, the tables are all over. I knew this was coming. Once you start letting, people who like that's their way of life in a lot of these countries, they have tables and that's their way of life. But if you come to New York and you go to the Bronx, it's tables everywhere. Just about every section of the Bronx, you're gonna find people with tables and stuff. And it's like, I don't know. It's insane to me or whatever. And I feel like it disrupts our way of life because we don't shop on tables. We do that when we go to other countries. We do, you buy trinkets when you go, maybe you downtown, midtown. Me and my kids, we were at the Intercontinental Hotel. We stayed down there. And, you walk around, you buy little trinkets or whatever, like you a tourist or whatever. You just do silly stuff when you in Manhattan or whatever, just to, have a good time or whatever, make fun of it or whatever. But we don't really shop on tables. We have Macy's and Walmart and Nostrums and Non-West. Like that's what we like. That's what I like. And that's been my way of life. And I'm really not interested in changing that. I'm not interested in it at all. So I don't know. I'm Ray Ray, guys. I like to bring awareness to conversation in hopes that it sparks change. And I'm out.